What Charlie and Andrew Colvett told me was that she said that she wanted in exchange for Trump to allow them to annex not Gaza, but the West Bank. I was stunned by this. I think it has since made the news. But of course, this is like a totally different pretense than October 7th. Hamas is not in the West Bank, and that is what she wanted in exchange.
So Candace Owens just dropped explosive claims about Trump's betrayal of the Adelson family and its connection to the Butler assassination attempt. She's alleging Trump took $100 million from Miriam Adelson, promised to let Israel annex the West Bank, then bragged about planning to screw her over. Let's break this down.
After she said this to Trump, Trump went, he was wherever Charlie was, Trump was adjusting his tie and looking in the mirror, and he said, I'm going to take her money and then I'll F her over. Okay.
That's an absolutely devastating quote if true. Trump allegedly boasting about taking Adelson money while planning betrayal shows either incredible arrogance or complete ignorance of how dangerous mega donors operate. The Adelsons aren't just wealthy, they're connected to serious power networks that don't forgive betrayal.
A few weeks later, there was the Butler attempted assassination. And I find it very strange that Donald Trump is not interested or has appeared to be completely disinterested in determining who fired that shot.
The timeline here is chilling. Trump allegedly betrays the Adelsons in private, then weeks later faces an assassination attempt, and shows zero interest in finding out who actually pulled the trigger. That's not normal behavior for any politician, let alone a former president.
Don't take $100 million from a family of, I would say, gangsters, right? You're in gambling. It's not exactly an industry. I'm talking about Sheldon. That's where they made the money on. You don't take that kind of money and then express to people that you're planning on just screwing the person over. I just have a lot of questions about that. And it all transpired very quickly.
The Adelson empire was built on Vegas casinos, an industry historically tied to organized crime. Sheldon Adelson was worth $40 billion and had deep connections to both Israeli and American power structures. You don't casually betray people operating at that level without serious consequences.
I think to myself, when was the exact moment that Charlie Kirk understood that he was not free? That he had money and that he had fame, but he did not actually have freedom. You know, between you and I, whoever it was that made the decision to kill him was correct in their assessment that he was indeed a threat, because Charlie Kirk could command a crowd.
Kirk's ability to command crowds made him genuinely dangerous to the establishment. Look at January 6th. Crowd control is political control. The moment any figure can move masses independently of the official narrative, they become a target. That's why authentic populist leaders rarely survive.
Someone actually said to me shortly after his death that Charlie was a maestro. He understood that every instrument was needed to command an orchestra. The strings, the woodwind, the brass, the percussion, all very different sounds, but he could hear them each brilliantly, each section. And at various times, he would conduct one sound above the other, more flute, less violin, more cello. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, different instruments, to be sure. But only a fool or someone under the express direction of one could have thought to hit send on what you published on Truth Social last night. And I think that we should read it together, Mr. President, shall we?
This orchestra metaphor perfectly captures how effective political movements work. Each media figure serves a different audience. Jones reaches conspiracy theorists, Carlson appeals to intellectuals, Kelly connects with mainstream conservatives. Trump's attacking the very coalition that built his movement.
Wrote, I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the #1 state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They are stupid people. They know it, their families know it, and everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did.
Remember, Trump praised these exact people for years. He called Tucker brilliant, appeared on Jones's show, celebrated when Kelly left NBC. Now he's calling them stupid and unsuccessful? That's not strategy. That's someone being controlled by handlers who want to isolate him.
it's because they were rooted in some element of truth. Okay. So if you called Rosie O'Donnell unattractive, or when you said Hillary Clinton should be in prison, it played to the crowd because although many people thought it was inappropriate and beneath the dignity of a politician, it was based in truth, right?
Trump's old insults worked because they contained kernels of truth that resonated with public perception. Calling genuinely successful, intelligent people low IQ just makes him look delusional. When your attacks don't match reality, you lose credibility with your own base.
Low IQ? Really? Tucker Carlson, low IQ? Me, low IQ? The three of us unsuccessful somehow? When you write stuff like that, you just demonstrate nothing but your own irrationality. It just doesn't land. Nobody cares about them anymore. Really? You're the leader of the free world and you're tweeting about us.
Classic contradiction. If these people truly don't matter, why is the leader of the free world spending time attacking them on social media? The fact that he can't ignore them proves their continued influence over his former base.
Tucker Carlson is more powerful than you. Deep down, I think you know that, and I think you resent that, which is proven by your next lines.
Tucker commands 50 million viewers without corporate sponsors or political handlers. Trump needs Republican Party infrastructure and donor approval. Independent media figures like Tucker actually have more freedom to speak truth, which makes them more authentically powerful than controlled politicians.
Are you aware that your base is comprised of blue-collar workers who never went to college, many who never so much wanted to go to college, never dreamed it? The farmers, the ranchers, the plumbers, the electricians, the people who work with their hands, you now stick your nose up to all of those people?
Trump built his movement on celebrating working-class Americans who'd been ignored by coastal elites. Now he's using college credentials as an attack line? That's exactly the kind of credentialism his base has always rejected. He's becoming what he once opposed.
And let me be perfectly clear here when I say that each and every one of them is infinitely more smart and more capable than you and the people that you surround yourself with in this moment. But let's continue, because CNN says you got 100% support.
Trump spent years calling CNN fake news, but now he's citing their polls when convenient? This shows he's lost his political instincts. His base notices these contradictions. You can't simultaneously attack mainstream media and then use them to validate your support.
Actually, to me, the First Lady of France is a far more beautiful woman than Candace. In fact, it's not even close. This Brigitte Macron, who did you write that sentence for? Not even Brigitte Macron and Emmanuel Macron applauded that sentence, okay? They said, incroyable. It doesn't help. Sometimes propaganda, when it's too naked, actually just hurts the cause that it purports to support. What is your obsession with Brigitte?
Praising Brigitte Macron over American conservatives is political insanity. She represents everything MAGA supposedly opposes, French globalist elite. Even Macron himself probably thought that comparison was bizarre and counterproductive. Trump's completely lost his political compass.
Do you think your base cares when the subject matter is children that are being statutorily raped by their supervisors? Do you understand that no one in MAGA, in true MAGA, cares about money above truth and protecting children? Did you connect that dot when we revolted against you saying, what about the Epstein files?
MAGA voters expected Trump to expose elite pedophile networks, not defend them. When he refused to release Epstein files and now attacks people questioning inappropriate teacher-student relationships, he's betraying his base's core moral expectations about protecting children.
People will not fight beside, behind, or for someone who is fundamentally disloyal. Okay? If disloyalty and deceit is in your nature, then I highly suggest that you combine it with silence. You can be what you are, but I would advise you do it quietly, Trump. Because MAGA is no longer commanded by you, and you know it. You know it.
The Epstein class refers to compromised elites who are controlled through blackmail and financial entanglements. By placing Trump in this category, she's arguing he's no longer fighting the swamp. He's become part of it, controlled by the same forces he once opposed.
Let me be perfectly clear when I say this. Charlie Kirk, he died free. You will most certainly die a slave, okay?
The slavery metaphor is devastating because it's visible. Charlie Kirk died pursuing truth independently. while Trump is now publicly constrained by handlers and foreign interests. One chose freedom and paid with his life. The other chose survival and lost his soul.
Bibi is your master. Maybe it's Miriam Adelson that lights the fire and Bibi that makes the shadows on the wall. But the entire world recognizes that now.
Plato's cave allegory fits perfectly. Netanyahu creates the shadows on the wall, the false reality Trump sees, while Adelson controls the fire that makes those shadows. Trump mistakes these projections for reality while being completely manipulated by foreign interests.
I believe you are in a situation that I would never want to be in, surrounded by advisors who hate you to their core, but they understand you.
There's genuine tragedy here. Trump's surrounded by people who benefit from his destruction. They isolate him from honest advisors, feed his worst impulses, then watch him self-destruct on social media. It's elder abuse disguised as political strategy.
Investigation, they can put a clear plan in place to resolve your tax problem and get you back on track. So do not wait for another IRS letter or a frozen bank account. Instead, call 866-686-1651 or visit tnusa.com/Candace. Again, that's tnusa.com/Candace. Also remind you guys about American financing, because between groceries, travel, and higher prices, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics.
The death cult accusation hits because it's backed by observable evidence. Celebrating civilian casualties, targeting hospitals and schools, making child murder a policy goal. When America prioritizes this regime over American interests, we're enabling genuine evil.
And I will forever maintain that the first casualty of the Iranian war was Charlie Kirk. I believe he was sacrificed by this death cult.
Charlie Kirk's death as the first casualty of the Iran war makes perfect sense. He would have opposed another Middle East conflict for Israel's benefit. Eliminating him before war propaganda began ensured one less influential voice against the coming military escalation.